When I think of my mother, I cannot separate her image from my idea of love, for love was the natural ingredient in the sweet, soft tones of her voice. On the day I lost my mother, I wrote in my diary, "The greatest tragedy in my life has just happened." Even as an adult living away from my mother, her loss left me feeling as abandoned as a small orphan. I know that many friends in the West do not feel the same way about their parents. I have heard many stories about parents who have hurt their children so much, planting many seeds of suffering in them. But I believe that the parents did not mean to plant those seeds. They did not intend to make their children suffer. Maybe they received the same kind of seeds from their parents. There is a continuation in the transmission of seeds, and their father and mother might have gotten those seeds from their grandfather and grandmother. Most of us are victims of a kind of living that is not mindful, and the practice of mindful living, of meditation, can stop these kinds of suffering and end the transmission of such sorrow to our children and grandchildren. We can break the cycle by not allowing these seeds of suffering to be transmitted to our children, our friends, or anyone else. A 14-year-old boy who practices at Plum Village told me this story. When he was 11, he was very angry at his father. Every time he fell down and hurt himself, his father would shout at him. The boy vowed to himself that when he grew up, he would be different. But last year, his little sister was playing with other children and she fell off a swing and scraped her knee. It was bleeding. The boy became very angry. He wanted to shout at her, "How stupid! Why did you do that?" But he caught himself. Because he had practiced breathing and mindfulness, he could recognize his anger and he did not act on it. The adults were taking good care of his sister, washing her wound and putting a Band-Aid on it, so he walked away slowly and practiced breathing on his anger. Suddenly he saw that he was exactly like his father. He told me, "I realized that if I didn't do something about the anger in me, I would transmit it to my children." At the same time, he saw something else. He saw that his father may have been a victim just like him. The seeds of his father's anger might have been transmitted by his grandparents. It was remarkable insight for the 14-year-old boy, but because he had been practicing mindfulness, he could not see like that. I told myself to continue practicing in order to transform my anger into something else. And after a few months, his anger disappeared. Then he was able to bring the fruit of his practice back to his father, and he told him that he used to be angry at him, but now he understood. He said he wished that his father would practice also, in order to transform his own seeds of anger. We usually think that parents have to nourish their children, but sometimes the children can bring enlightenment to the parents and help transform them. When we look at our parents with compassion, often we see that our parents are only victims who never had the chance to practice mindfulness. They could not transform the suffering in themselves. But if we see them with compassionate eyes, we can offer them joy, peace, and forgiveness. In fact, when we look deeply, we discover that it's impossible to drop all identity with our parents. Whenever we take a bath or a shower, if we look closely at our body, we will see that it is a gift from our parents and their parents. As we wash each part of our body, we can meditate on the nature of the body and the nature of life, asking ourselves, to whom does this body belong? Who has given this body to me? What has been given? If we meditate in this way, we will discover that there are three components: the giver, the gift, and the one who receives the gift. The giver is our parents. We are the continuation of our parents and our ancestors. The gift is our body itself. The one who receives the gift is us. As we continue to meditate on this, we see clearly that the giver, the gift, and the receiver are one. All three are present in our body. When we are deeply in touch with the present moment, we can see that all our ancestors. Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. I just read a little bit of parenting, which is in Thich Nhat's book, Thich Nhat Hahn, and he is definitely well deserved of the Nobel Peace Prize for Peace. He embodies that peace, teaching mindfulness to breathe in everyday life, to slow down, to get connected with spirit, to really honor and hone in on our peace. And so I would agree with the Dalai Lama, who wrote his foreword in the book, that he shows us the connection between our personal inner peace, the world around us, and how to exist in it, and to be mindful, to be present in each of those moments. So if you're on that spiritual question, on that spiritual journey of growing and developing and wanting to learn how to slow down, and I chose parenting to read that because I'm so big on us as mothers raising our children to be connected to them, to know our patterns, what we pass down, and some of the things that have unconsciously been passed down to us that we don't know, but to connect to all of that so that we can make some changes and be a little, not a little bit, but a lot more present in how we raise our children, respond to them, react, because they're watching us, and then they'll become parents one day themselves, but we want to make sure that we give them the tools. So again, this is a great read, and I thank you again. Hit the button, subscribe, like, join into my community, and you take care and be well. Until the next time. Bye-bye.